To celebrate the Happy New Year, we are going to talk about the Ig Nobel Awards, the scientific awards for those that are not quite up to snuff or a little weird. Coming up next on Science and Education segment here on Impact. Welcome to the Science and Education segment on Impact. I'm Barbara Brabetz. To round out the year that was 2012, we will be talking with Dr. Ed Stander today, our musical/comedian guest who just happens to have a PhD in civil engineering and geology. So he's here today not to talk civil engineering and geology, but a wide variety of rather bizarro science.
That's to show that I'm very, very intelligent.
Well, you certainly are something. We're going to talk about the Ig Nobel Prize today, and the Ig Nobel Prize, its mission is for achievements that first make people laugh, then make them think. Are we going to both laugh and think today?
No, it's to make people laugh and then make people think, why was I laughing?
But isn't it funny?
No, sometimes it is, but most of the time it's just thoughtful.
Well, we have some business left over from the 2011 Ig Nobel Awards, don't we?
Yes, we sure do.
We have an issue in science that we call
fraud,
or the lack of integrity of certain researchers. Last year, we talked about red tortoises, the red-footed tortoise, and the fact that a researcher could not get, Anna Wilkinson could not get tortoises to yawn even if they taught them how to yawn.
That's right.
Okay. That was really funny. Why?
Well, it was supposed to be really funny because the idea of a yawning tortoise is very funny, don't you think? Ha ha ha. Well, actually yawning tortoises is not that funny. But she made it funny by saying that no matter what she did, including, by the way, bringing it to her classroom during a lecture when everyone else was yawning, she couldn't get the tortoise to yawn. It turns out, however, that the tortoises did yawn.
But that wasn't funny?
They yawned very, very slowly.
It
took them upwards of 15 minutes to yawn, and it was only by running the tape backwards at high speed that you could tell that the tortoise was not only yawning, but yawned several times during the lecture. It just took a while for it to get the joke.
So kind of like a slow mouth action.
Right. And the problem with the fact that she got the award when she really didn't deserve it, being that she did convince the turtle to yawn anyway, was that my paper was also up for a run. And because she got the award, they didn't give one to me.
Well, what do you win when you win the Ig Nobel Prize? Because when you win the Nobel Prize, there's a substantial cash award.
Yes. No,
but with the Ig Nobel Prizes, it's a little different.
With the Ig Nobel Prize, you win the gratitude of a hungry nation.
And you get a special trip for a rather wacky ceremony which takes place every fall.
Which you pay for yourself.
Right. But you get to be wacky, and people will think, scientists, my God, they're wacky.
Exactly.
So this is real research.
We're not actually wacky.
We're not?
No, we're not. We're not wacky
we?
at all. We're very, very serious people.
Okay, well, let's get serious then. So let's talk about the 2012 Ig Nobel Prizes.
Yes.
The Psychology Prize went to researchers from the Netherlands and Russia, and their study, which was published in a legitimate, honest-to-goodness not magazine, journal, Psychological Science, it was leaning to the left makes the Eiffel Tower seem smaller.
Yes, and we've known this for years. In the United States, for example, if you happen to have a leftist inclination and you lean to the left, the deficit looks smaller.
Ugh, so Eiffel Tower deficit.
Eiffel Tower may very well be the French equivalent of a deficit.
Well, let me kind of lean to the left and see if it makes you smaller.
Well, that's not good.
Isn't that interesting, though, that
if you lean to the right, then you look larger.
Well, I hope everyone leans to the left when looking at me then.
That's correct.
That's all I have to say. No, the Nobel Peace Prize this year,
yes,
very auspicious work. The Ig Nobel Peace Prize, not so much. However, it does give new meaning to take the swords and beat them into plowshares.
Okay.
The Russians, they took old Russian ammo and they turned them into diamonds. How's that work?
Yes. Well, for years there was a company in Australia that would take fat Uncle Fred and turn him into diamonds.
What's a fat Uncle Fred?
That's my uncle. He's quite fat.
Oh, I see.
And he never left me any money. When he died, we sent his body to Australia. They squeezed it down, and they turned it to a diamond.
How many carats was fat Uncle Fred?
Oh, he used to eat carrots all the time. He'd never stop. But the interesting thing about the Russian study is they didn't actually turn explosives into diamonds.
What did they turn them into?
What they did is they took explosives to make the pressure that turned carbon into diamonds.
Oh, so they found some carbon laying around.
They found a bit of carbon, a bit of fat Uncle Fred that nobody else wanted, and they blew up the explosion, and that produced the explosion, the power to turn the carbon into nanodiamonds.
So,
Now,
nanodiamonds?
do you know how much a nanodiamond is worth?
I would assume nanocents.
Nano. Right. In fact, it turns out that for years they've been doing this and trying to figure out what to do with these nanodiamonds, which are so small that you can't see them, until they discovered that electrons use them to marry protons.
Oh, well, we always knew they had a certain attraction.
Exactly.
Even the straight man gets one every once in a while.
Not very funny.
Yeah, well, I that's why they call me the straight man. Let's jump to neuroscience since...
Might as well.
Yeah, might as well. We have researchers here in the United States who published in the Journal of Serendipitous and Unexpected Results, Volume 1. This sounds like it's a plant for the Ig Nobel Awards, don't you think?
Let me tell you, it was a serendipitous study, yes.
Their title of their paper was Neural Correlates of Interspecies Perspective, Taking in the Post-Mortem Atlantic Salmon, an Argument for Multiple Comparisons Correction. Blah, 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 blah.
Sounds deep.
What actually happened is they were demonstrating that brain researchers, by using complicated instruments in statistics, could see how meaningful brain activity was after a salmon was dead.
Well, that makes perfect sense. That's sort of like Curlian intelligence.
Well, okay, it's a dead salmon.
Yeah, it's a dead salmon.
Can't we hypothesize that a dead salmon has no brain activity?
Well, actually, I've been hypothesizing that years with my students, but that's beside the point. No, brain activity doesn't require a live brain. Just think about this. The salmon is dead, correct?
Yes.
What is going on inside of a dead salmon?
Decomposition.
And those bacteria, they are thinking.
They don't have a brain.
Oh.
Bacteria don't have brains.
Oh, tell me. The Wizard of Oz knows this, does it?
I think there's some contagious brain yawning that you're going to do with bacteria for next year's award, don't you think?
I've already tried publishing so many times and they just ignore me.
Let's move on to chemistry. It is near and dear to my heart since I am a biochemist.
We're all chemists.
Yeah, okay. Well, we're all chemistry. Let's leave it at that.
Go
So
on.
Johan Peterson from Sweden and Rwanda, very Rwandan name, but so there we go, for solving the puzzle of why in certain houses in the town of Anderslöv, Sweden, people's hair turned green. Why did people's hair turn green?
Oh, that's an easy one. It's because the people in the next town over had just struck oil and everyone was rich.
So they were green with
envy. Exactly. So it was envious green. And some people think that that's just a saying, but it's not. People's hair will turn green if they're envious.
That you have to be a certain degree of envy?
That's correct. And if they're curious, they turn yellow. These things happen.
I can't believe that they published it.
Well, in Sweden, anything is possible.
It's a bad day in Sweden when your hair turns green.
And as you say...
Or a good day for somebody else.
Well, as I say, some people turn yellow when they become curious. They made movies of that.
So let's talk about the Japanese. Let's
talk about the Japanese.
Yes. They created the speech jammer, a machine
They created the speech jammer.
Disrupts.
That's a speech that disrupts
a person's speech by making them hear their own spoken words at a slight delay.
Yes.
So you make a box and you speak words and it repeats it back to yourself with a few seconds delay. How cool is that?
Well, they've known this for years, actually. This is honestly true. People stutter because they're listening to the sound of their own voice coming through sort of a do loop, a time loop. So this is nothing new, and I don't think they deserve to have the prize at all.
You think that it's an illegitimate prize?
Well, the Ig Nobel Prize is illegitimate, but this is illegitimate squared.
Okay. Well, my brother used to do this
But
in the
they're
backseat of the
Japanese.
car.
They can do this.
And I just wanted to beat his face in because it was just friggin' annoying. It wasn't anything to stop me from speaking. Nothing can stop me from speaking.
Yes, but making sense, that's a whole nother story.
Oh, that's true.
And that is what happens when you hear the same thing repeated at you half an hour later, half a second later, because your brain is going, well, that's really stupid. Why did I say that? And then, so while your brain is saying that, your mouth is still going on, and it takes a couple microseconds before the two of them sort of catch each other, and that can be very, very, very dangerous for the psyche.
So the USGAO wrote a report about reports.
The USGAO.
Government Accounting Office.
Government Accounting Office.
Our
Yes.
tax dollars at work.
Yes, and tell me.
Their idea, the Government Accounting Office, is to tell us where we can save money.
Right.
So they wrote a report about writing reports.
That makes sense.
So their report about reports says writing reports can
About
cost a lot of money.
Right. But writing reports about reports can cost even more money.
Yeah, so preparation of reports about the report about reports about reports.
Right.
That's like the speech jammer, only in paper.
Well, it was shown years and years ago that meetings operate the same way.
That we'll have a meeting about a
If
meeting.
you have a meeting about a meeting, which is about a meeting that you had before, which is about another meeting, is totally a waste of money. And if you write a report about a report about a report about a report about the meeting that you had about the meeting you had before and the meeting before, that makes it impossible to understand what I just said.
Pretty much, or at least the third circle of hell. We've got the speech jammer in the first circle.
Mm-hmm.
We've got nano diamonds in the second, and now
And
we've got
got
reports.
administrators in the third.
Oh yeah, well,
It's a perfect one, yes.
sorry,
I like
boss. Okay, well, let's go to the physics prize. They
Oh, that's my
calculated
favorite.
the balance of forces that shape and move the hair in a human ponytail. I'm not rocking a ponytail today, but they figured out the motion dynamics of ponytail motion.
Right. They tried to do that with ponies a number of years ago, and it didn't work.
They couldn't get the sample size.
They couldn't get the ponies to move their tail in some reasonable fashion. And it was only after about 2 months of study they realized that the ponytail was moving in that fashion because it was trying to get rid of flies.
Well, then on a human, let's hope we're not trying to get rid of flies.
No, we're trying to get rid of report writers.
Well, that could be.
Yes.
Or at least
and of course people who repeat
themselves.
2 seconds later.
Now, I like this fluid dynamics prize better than the physics prize. Ponytails for you, coffee sloshing for me.
Okay, go on.
So, Russian, Canadian, and U.S. authorities studied the dynamics
Russians,
of...
Canadians, and U.S. together?
Apparently, it must have been winter. They were huddling together for warmth, and they
Couldn't
were
have been much
walking
money
down
in
the
that.
hall with their coffee cup.
Right.
And they said, I wonder what the fluid dynamics are of sloshing coffee in the coffee mug. Why does it slosh the way it does? So their article, Walking with Coffee, Why Does It Spill, was published in the Physical Review E earlier in the year. Cool.
That I
I don't think there should be no Ig Nobel award for this. It's like breaking science. We need to know.
But it's just Murphy's Law. It's just a variation on Murphy's Law. If you have something that will slosh, it will slosh. I mean, there's no physics to it. It's a sign that there's a God. And religion and science have to be kept separate, even in the Ig Nobel Prizes.
Well, if we do variables in a reaction or in an experiment, you have the variable of no sloshing.
Well, wait, that's another problem.
Yeah, how do you do variables with coffee sloshing?
Did they try Turkish coffee?
Did they try tea?
Tea. The
What about
study
a
is
square mug?
They're obviously half baked, or perhaps they
Half
were all
brewed?
just sloshed.
Perhaps. I'm just wondering, did you make them take their shoes off and then do it versus with their shoes on, high heels, sneakers? Where are the variables
The
here?
complications are
Drunk,
enormous.
sober?
No,
Because,
maybe,
drunk people never spill anything.
maybe we should try it ourselves here.
Yeah. Well,
Let's
I
get this
don't.
close to the televisions and see what happens.
We have dangerous electronics around
Jesus.
here. See?
Go on.
It didn't take any. You don't even have to walk.
Mm-hmm.
And you can slosh.
That's correct. I slosh all the time.
Yes. Well.
In fact, I slish when I slosh.
Now, let's go to the medicine prize. More serious here. Okay?
Right.
These poor people, they were researching how to minimize the chance that their patients would explode during a colonoscopy. Do you think that that's really a big problem? Exploding bowels?
The famous exploding bowel syndrome. Yes, that's always been a problem. There was a character in the 1800s, I don't know if you've ever heard of him, called
No.
Le Pétomène.
And what was his issue?
Well, he actually played on the stage in Paris and places like that, and he would play songs by expelling air through his bowels.
I see.
And he
so
discovered, this
kind
is
of
a true
the
story.
anti-nose flute.
This is a true story. And what he discovered first is that sitting in a bathtub, he was actually able to suck in water and clean himself beforehand, so that when he got up on stage, of course, there'd be no smell.
Because that's really critical when you're having someone pay to hear you fart.
He was able to there was a limerick about him.
Oh, don't say it.
There once was a man from Granada who was such a musical farter that he farted anything from God Save the Queen till Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. I know, but again, that was the 1800s. They'd already figured that out. You stick them in a thing of hot water and you clear them out. So I don't understand this sort of stuff.
Well, I guess that's probably not basic reading history that you would get in medical school.
Scientists don't read enough.
So perhaps there's a purging that needs to happen in order to stop the explosions
I
that
would think
appear to be a part of
On the other
colonoscopies. On the other hand,
perhaps if the person were to eat some carbon before the explosion, they could make
diamonds. Well, that sounds like a great place to wrap up. We've started.
We haven't finished yet.
Oh gosh, we haven't.
My favorite one. You've missed my favorite one.
How could I possibly have missed? I have. That's why I blocked it out.
And I don't blame
I'm
you.
sorry. It would be the anatomy prize. Is this the one that we're talking about? The anatomy prize
is the one I always like to listen to. What was it this year?
It's delicate, but we have researchers from the Netherlands and the USA, and they discover that chimpanzees can identify other chimpanzees in photos, not just by looking at their faces, by checking out their rear ends.
And that makes sense.
Why?
Well, it makes sense because human beings only care about first impression, but monkeys, they care about last impression. So, for example, a human being
has an example.
will walk into a room with polished fronts of his shoes, but he doesn't care about the back of his shoes.
But chimpanzees
always shine their rumps before they go out in public.
At least on a Friday night.
Oh, there's no question.
So when they say, I'm sorry, I can't go out tonight, I have to wash my hair, we're not talking about their head hair anymore, are they?
That's correct.
Yeah. Well, chimpanzees will be chimpanzees. We have an oldie but a goodie from 2009.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Dr. Elena Bodnar, she designed a bra that had double duty, so to speak. The bra also was used as?
A face mask.
A face mask.
However, it was originally a face mask and then used as a bra because she'd forgotten to bring the bras to the
a little duct tape and jum boom, there you go.
If you can't do it with duct tape, it can't be done.
I think we have a photo of that we'll put up, but essentially each cup of the bra can be used in case of a chemical or biological attack. You might be braless, but you'll be safe from, Ebola. So,
which is important.
Well, I just hope your bra is relatively clean when the Ebola virus strikes.
And sometimes they smell good too.
Well, I hope we haven't made a terrible impression on you today. Legit science, folks. These Ig Nobel Awards come out every year in real honest-to-goodness journals, and then our folks at Harvard and others go through them and find the most absurd and bring to you the Ig Nobel Awards. Should we not be absurdly run out of the profession, we will be back next year with a new list of the Ig Nobel Awards for you to entertain you.
That means we'll be back tomorrow doing the same thing?
Are we?
Well, tomorrow's the new year.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, we have to wait for more breathtaking science to take place before we can talk about
a lot
more
of great
Nobel
science is done on the 31st.
Perhaps with chimpanzees. Anyway, have a very happy new year. This is Barbara Brabetz with Dr. Ed Standard.
Again.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Yes. You have been watching the Science and Education segment on Impact. Have a good new year.
Well, that's it for Impact this week. We want to wish everyone a happy new year out there in Impact Land. And we want to thank you for watching in 2012 and keep watching in 2013. We'll see you next time. I'm Nick Barber, your host.
Proctors, bringing the best in arts, education, and entertainment.